All right. We are live. Welcome, everybody. In case you are wondering who I am, my name is Antonio Bryce. I am the creator of the comic book series brand. We are less than $200 away from crossing $75,000 on Indiegogo, thanks to the kindness of good folks such as yourself. You can actually read a preview for the first 21 pages of brand in the description there. I've got it linked up. And also in the description is Guardians of Erloth #2. There's a link to that Indiegogo project. This gentleman is making a return visit to our channel. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Chael Roberts. Hope I said that right.
Hello. Chael Roberts. That's all right, though.
Chael. All right. Chael Roberts. All right. Well, hello, Chael. How are you, sir?
I'm doing good. What's going on, Antonio?
Not bad. I'm doing okay. Everything is hey,
better than your Titans, right?
Well, they actually won on Sunday, so there you go.
Awesome.
They actually have they're not in such a bad position where they could if they could win a couple more, they could, slide on it, because the Texans lost. Lost. So I mean, yeah, they're only like a game back.
Right. Yeah, my team's been on a winning streak, so here's crossing our fingers till tomorrow night. Hopefully, we can take care of business where we should, and keep going forward.
Who are you playing?
We are playing Washington.
Oh yeah. Like the only team Washington is beat is the Dolphins.
Right.
And that was just who's going to lose the hardest. That was kind of a hard game to watch. That was really was not very good, actually. So I don't know. But Chael, okay, so you had Guardians of Erloth Volume 1. You had it. You managed to raise the funds, and you printed, I don't know, a few hundred copies of the book.
Correct. Yep.
But now you're back for the sequel. So tell me about, I guess just for anyone that didn't see our previous interview, tell us about Guardians of Erloth. How did it start and all that?
So Guardians of Erloth started as kind of a short story that characters I'd introduced to a larger story. I'm working on a novel, and I turned that short story and kind of those character descriptions into a comic. And Volume 1 starts with kind of a present day view on my character, kind of where he is currently. And then during the process of the book, which is 24 pages, interior art and colors were done by Ryan Best in Volume 1, as well as Volume 2. And basically he starts telling his origin story as a bedtime story. And that's kind of where in the middle of Volume 1 picks up. And then at the end of Volume 1, it kind of, I wouldn't say it's a cliffhanger per se, but it does leave the reader wanting to know, what happens next. And Volume 2 picks up right where Volume 1, about 5 years after where Volume 1 left
off. Okay. So let me actually start pulling it up, because I actually want you to get more in depth about what Guardians of Erloth actually is.
Sure.
Let me hold up. Sometimes it freezes when you do the screen. Okay. Hopefully you're still with me. Can you hear me?
Yep.
All right, good.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, because I've done this a few times, and then it locks up for a second, and then you're like, damn. Okay, but all right. So what is Guardians of Erloth actually about?
So I kind of, Guardians of Erloth is a fantasy story. The first book volume is 24 pages. This one's going to be 48. But it centers around my main character, Caius, who is a guardian. And that's where it starts at Volume 1. A guardian in Erloth is a individual who usually has some sort of magical ability or magical power, or some inherent ability he's born with. In this case, Caius starts discovering his powers in Volume 2. But a guardian's job is to protect the realms of men, or kings and queens, or rulers, from the dark outside influence of dark magic. and his job is basically to protect humanity.
Now, you have this very snazzy piece here that I believe was done by a dear friend of mine. Can you tell me about this series? I think this is your cover for Volume 2.
Yep. So Kane White did a cover for Volume 1 as well, and he's back doing cover for Volume 2. So that is art by Kane White and colored by Ryan Best.
Yeah, nice colors on this, by the way. I was, very nice. I'm digging it.
Ryan's the whole package, man. He went to school for art and illustration, and he's definitely, his life is geared around art and coloring. So,
yeah, but I've seen a lot of people, like sometimes Kane will post art up on his Twitter or on his Instagram or something. Someone will just take it and they'll color it for fun.
right.
And and sometimes I don't know. Kanan says everything's great. He'll tell everything, and I'll be like, God, Kanan, that looks awful. He's like, well, they tried, and I'm like, but that's my point. I was like, I just don't like fake platitudes. I guess I just like if it doesn't. I mean, I'm not looking to insult anybody, but if it's not good, I'd rather be honest about it. Just instead of just like, hey, this actually is a really good color job here.
And I got lucky in that regards because even before I hired and met Ryan, he had colored pieces of Kanan before for other creators, and he had been following Kanan for, he said, about 10 years.
Mm. Yeah.
He had also done work at Zenoscope.
Yeah, trust me, Kanan's got that's what there was someone the other day and they tweeted out it was a Phantom annual cover. They've got some company. There's a guy I follow on Instagram, and he actually is the Phantom artist over in Australia. I guess it's some small publisher. Well, I guess it might be a big publisher in Australia. I just looked at him as a little indie. It's not Marvel and DC, but there's some publisher in Australia has the rights to the Phantom property that goes two walks, and he was doing that, and I guess Kanan got hired. This was about 3 or 4 years ago. He got hired to do an annual cover for them, and it had the female Phantom in it, and I mean, it looked really cool. And the gentleman tweeted it out, and Kanan was like, "Oh man," he hadn't even seen it because he just turned to work in and got his check. He was done with it. He never saw the final colors until it got. He said, "Hey, I found this at the comic shop, and it's got Kanan on it." So he was kind of surprised because he was like, "Yeah, I did that like three years ago. I never saw the final colors on it. I just turned it over to the client and just moved on."
Oh wow.
So I mean that's generally how it works, though. I mean, they, once I pass off the files, I don't know what someone's gonna do. I know when I've been sending people their commissions from Kanan and stuff, they, what they do with them. I never know, but seeing this, it looks like it was handled. Like I said, I've seen some butchering of Kanan's visuals sometimes. That's why I'm very proud of the colorist we have, because he knows how to color Kanan the right way. And yeah, he did a really nice job here. I like Ryan's colors here. So there you go. That's just me speaking. But Ryan Best, all right, and he was the artist the first go round too, right?
Yes, he did all the character designs, interior art, and colors, as well as coloring both covers for Volume 1.
So let me see. Okay, so this is a page from Book 2.
Yes. So the next, the 5 pages that got posted are kind of towards the middle of the book. Kind of shows some action scenes going on, and I wanted to center the story, basically frame it around the hero's journey. I think it's it's a timeless kind of framework of any story. We see it in the Odyssey, we see it in Star Wars. So really, this character, while he's in Volume 1, and I wanted to present it how he is, and then kind of like I said, it starts as a bedtime story. And it follows his origins. And I wanted to, it's his origin story, but I wanted to do it a little bit different than it's normally done in comics. I'm not dealing with a superhero. So you'll find out how he develops his powers in volume 2. But it really is structured around the hero's journey.
Okay. I'm looking. Okay, now I saw you had a sticker, and this character here in the corner with the bow. She must be important, because I noticed you had like a sticker with her and all that kind of stuff on it. So
yep. So in this volume 2, we're going to introduce some more antagonists, and I always love good bad guys. Or bad women, bad people, whatever you want to call them. I think it, like Darth Vader or Darth Sidious or Darth Maul. Not only do they need to look cool, but they need to have depth. They just can't be evil. So Kyra is her name. She's a shadow elf. She's the main antagonist throughout the series, or one of the main antagonists, which is the Jade Sorceress. And you'll see her here with, she's up to no good, basically, and she's on a mission. And there is another elf, which I call, they're just forest elves. They got more technical names, but I won't go into those right now, just because they're not vital to the story. But she's a shadow elf. This other one's a forest elf. And so, yeah, she'll be a main antagonist in this book, and definitely going forward.
Okay. El Gargoyle, thanks for the $2. Definitely will be adding that to the snack fund. Appreciate you. Let me see. But the art here looks really, it's really sharp. Like I said, I like Ryan's style. Nice, clean rendering. The layouts, like, he gets all the basic information. Like, I can tell from the panel work that he's getting the main, he's got the main stuff in the front there, and then, like, he didn't some people would spend way too much time, like, in the background doing, like, all the leaves and all this kind of stuff. Right. So he just threw that in the back and just did some nice coloring on that. And then, so now you really have to worry about is the tree and the two people on the tree. And then you can get right down to business, which I think is a nice, clean. That's one of the things I know when Kanan and I were going. Kanan will draw every feather, every leaf. Right. He'll sit there and I'll be like, "Come on, man!" But I don't know. He says sometimes he feels like if he's not doing it like that, he feels like he's cheating the fans. And I don't know, but I like this. This is still very good art. It is beautifully colored. I mean, my God, he could get a lot. I see a lot of people in Comicsgate looking for colorists, and he definitely could be someone that I don't know if he's working on anybody else's books as far as coloring and everything. But my God, he is fantastic. Nice lighting effects. Great. I mean, I'm really, I see a lot of bad colors. So he's already a great artist, but my God, his coloring is fantastic. I'm a big fan of his color work.
Yeah, that's one of the big pluses. He does everything digital. So he'll pencil and then ink, and then he colors and renders everything digitally. So, he'll, depending on the scene that he's drawn, there's other pages where he does go in and detail the background. He'll digitally render and color everything and lay it out first in a format that's going to be just a matter of shading and mixing colors here, and especially with the light. But because he does everything digitally, I don't always see everything. And I've showed penciled pages and inked pages on Twitter and Facebook. He doesn't need to do everything as detailed, especially when you're dealing with like leaves in a forest. He'll do a couple leaves here and there, but generally everything is done digitally. And I think, I haven't watched him do the process, but like this seat right here, we see kind of the light shooting between the holes in the canopy.
Yeah, see, I dig stuff like that. I think that works very well. I feel like, especially with Brand, I feel like my colorist is as vital as Kanan, because my colorist, really helps to set a tone. A lot of times when a new page will come up, people be like, okay, so what's going on? And I'm having to explain because I'm like, I want the mood to be kind of this or whatever. And he'll adjust the colors according to what I'm telling him is going on and what he's seeing on the page. And I like that.
Yep. And Ryan's good about changing stuff too. If it, I'll lay it out, and I use the Marvel method, and I'm pretty detailed. But if something doesn't draw, like you picture something in your head, but if it doesn't translate to the paper in a certain sequential order, he'll kind of deviate and make it make sense, which is good because as a writer, you don't always get the details. You kind of give an overall picture of what you want, and when you're describing it, only when you see it does it either change or you notice little changes here and there.
But I think this is the storytelling. I mean, this is what was this 3 panels on this page? Well, I guess maybe
4.
Technically 4 with the inset panel. Yeah. So yeah, this is nice. I like the way the story. I mean, I can tell exactly what's going on. There's no words. Man, that's not bad. So really good job coloring there. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, okay, I guess these are people that read. I was like, wait, did I'm on Twitter? But I was like, but this must be people that read book 1.
Yes, people who purchased and bought and read and left feedback.
Let's see. All right. Check up. So I actually want to show your backer tiers and all that good stuff. Okay, you're trying to get to 3,000. Looks like you are about 60% of the way there. So you're and you still got some time. So yeah,
right.
I think, which is good because then I was like, yeah, don't rest on your laurels, man. I was like, it looks like you've been grinding pretty steadily, and sometimes you have to do it like that. So that's what it is. So
yeah, definitely.
But let me do this. Okay, so this is $5 for this tier. The Imp. What's in the Imp?
The Imp is a basically a 10-page preview of the book, and then there will be additional pages of art and designs and kind of an in-depth look at kind of the process of what I was thinking behind the art and what I wanted for the characters, what Ryan gave me. So I decided to add this in as a perk and then also as an add-on for people who are interested. They don't want to wait till June, the fulfillment date. They kind of want to know what's going on. There'll be lettered pages, of course, so they'll get to read the first 10 pages.
Okay, it's just $5. It's not bad. All right, so here is The Archer. Okay, so tell me about that one.
So The Archer, and I know it doesn't reflect here, but it will be a colored book. I couldn't go back and edit the tier once the campaign launched. I didn't have time to change it between receiving the colored. We were kind of crunched for time. So anyhow, it's volume 2 with a 4x4 sticker, and that will be the book. Be like kind of a basic tier for this book.
Okay. And then what's that? Lyser Berserker?
Yeah, Lysar. So Lysar are the name for my lizardmen. And a berserker is a common known kind of role in the fantasy genre, whether it's role playing or tabletop. A berserker is just a larger enforcer on the battlefield.
I was thinking about Wolverine or something. I was like, okay, I know about Wolverine when he goes in berserker.
Yeah.
But that's funny. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, pretty much like Wolverine can deal out a lot of damage and take a lot of damage. So, but that comes with volume 1 and volume 2. Those are the cane and white covers, both of them, and then the 4x4 sticker. We do have the Keith Hinman cover as an add-on. If people are looking at that too.
Wait a minute. Okay, so where do is that on the screen somewhere? Where can I find that?
No, once you it's as an add-on, so I believe it's once you check out, you can add it on.
Oh, okay. So you don't have an image of it where I can. show it to people?
No, I don't.
Okay.
They'll be able to see that once they check out.
Gotcha. Okay. But basically, you get volume 1 and volume 2, the Kanan covers plus the sticker, and then you can add on the other if you want.
Yeah, you can add on the Keith Hinman cover, which was the original cover for volume 1. You can add that on obviously to any tier, but it is available. Okay. Limited amounts.
Oh, what's your shipping running like on this?
So every tier is $10, with exception for the last 2 tiers.
Okay.
And I raised the shipping kind of to balance out. I offered this to overseas as well on this campaign. It's not something we did on the previous the first campaign, and we
gotcha. Okay, understood. Yep. Understood.
We added it limited in the second campaign.
Okay. Let me go down. The Barbarian. Tell me about the Barbarian.
So the Barbarian is for collectors. It is 2 books with, of course, the 10% off if you buy 2 of them, and that's also with the sticker. But if somebody likes to keep theirs in the plastic, and they'll come boarded and bagged. So if somebody, and signed, of course, by me. But if somebody wants to, keep one in the bag and not touch it, and they'll have one to read.
Okay. Well, yeah. So 1 to read, 1 to keep. I like that. Okay. So then we go. Okay. We've got The Sorceress. All right. So tell me about that one. It looks like that one's got a lot of stuff in it.
Yeah. So you're going to be familiar with this one. But this, I wanted to offer something that not a lot of indie campaigns are doing. And that is, I got 10 of these available. And what you get is you get 1 copy signed by myself, of course. And then the second copy is going to be signed by the whole team. And that will be signed by Kanan, Ryan, Eric, myself, and the editor. And they also get 2 prints, 2 fold-out posters, and a sticker. And then also an exclusive trading card with art that will be done specifically for that card by Ryan Best, colored and drawn by Ryan Best. So normally on the first campaign, I had art that was taken from the interior of the book. This one, of course, for this card will be specifically drawn for the card. And then, of course, it's going to have stats and a bio on it.
Okay. I got you. Let's see. Oh, okay. Now you're getting into them big dollars. The Guardian. All right. So what's going on with that one?
So the Guardian is going to be similar to, well, it's going to have some of the similar ones as the Sorceress. You'll also get the team signed book signed by me. Well, there will be 3 of the books signed just by myself, and then 1 of the books will be signed by the team. And then you'll get the trading card. You'll also get added into the book as a character. And then I've talked to Ryan, and he's agreed to draw that page 11 by 17 by hand, penciled in ink. And then you'll get to receive that page that you are on. And there's only 2 of those available.
Okay, so that's the last. Okay, so you get original 11 by 17 page of art with yourself actually drawn into the book, plus all the other bells and whistles, of course. Uh-oh. Chael?
Yep, still here.
Okay, I thought I was like, wow. I was like, oh, did I lose you? I was like, okay.
You can't get rid of me that easy.
Okay, so I see. Who is this? So
that's the Jade Sorceress. That is going to be one of the main antagonists throughout the series.
Oh, okay. Cool. I like that. Chael, you have a lot of Negroes in your story, I know.
Yeah, so about that, I wanted to, when I was writing my book, it was, around a lot of what a lot of other fantasy is, based loosely off medieval and, type of European culture and whatnot, with other elements thrown in, of course. And I'd written in these characters that were supposed to be kind of from a faraway land. They're supposed to be flashy and colorful and just something not seen. Think if, ancient Egyptians showed up to, King Arthur's court. So I wrote these characters into the story, and I kind of liked the characters and where they were from, and I wrote a history for them. And when I decided to make a short story of it, and then later turned it into this comic, they just happened to be mostly, they're on a continent that's full of dark-skinned people, and I wanted it to be a mix of India, Africa, and the Amazon.
Oh.
So, we have at the beginning, we have a port city that's full of all kinds of people. But I like the thought of having different cities and kingdoms that are culturally very strong and represents different types. And that's kind of what the continents and the kingdoms in this book, the series, are.
Okay. Interesting. It's I like that, but let me okay, hold on. So let me close this out and we'll get back into it. All right. So so you said this is going to be what, multiple parts? How many parts of this are you going to write?
Right now, 4.
And they're all what, 24 pages or?
No, first one was 24. The rest will be a minimum of 48. As soon as we hit our goal on this one, I'm going to put out some stretch goals. I would love to add more to the book, but I want people to actually want more of the book. So I want to go back and add 24 more pages to the first volume, kind of extend it a little bit and fill in some parts, because there's a lot of story that I had to cut out because it wasn't essential to that page, and I was trying to keep it at 24 pages. It was my first book also. So
Okay, I got you. But let me see. I'm trying to think. Okay, you definitely got a huge fantasy element in this book. Are you into like regular mainstream comics, or
Oh yeah, I mean, I grew up on Batman, X-Men. So I love superheroes. I love the 90s superheroes and the 80s.
Me too.
I stopped reading them after I would say 2000, and I read here and there, but I kind of just lost interest because it was, they were restarting stuff over and over again and killing people off, and I didn't really care for that. I kind of wanted new stories and fresh ideas. So I was also reading through the 90s Star Wars. So I kept reading Dark Horse Star Wars, and those were always good. And I like Conan, I like fantasy. So when I decided I wanted to write, fantasy was kind of the easiest for me to write and come up with things, because I feel like there's less constraints with fantasy.
So no, like He-Man, none of that kind of stuff, none of that ever appealed to
Oh
you?
yeah, definitely He-Man from the 80s. I grew up on that. I never read He-Man comics. I read Transformer and G.I. Joe, I guess, were the as far as 80s relation, but to He-Man that era.
Well, see, yeah, like if you look at like Marvel's He-Man and Thundercats, like all that stuff was put out through their Star line, which was made for kids. So
Right.
A lot of times the writing is like dumbed down as opposed to a normal Marvel comic. It's like, hey, you can't, just keep it real. The colors, they kind of keep those books rather simple. I noticed like when they've moved like He-Man and Thundercats over to like, I think IDW has those properties at the moment. When they've done that, obviously like they just did a big what was it? Masters of the Universe and Thundercats crossover, and that one got a lot more, it was dark. People were getting slaughtered up in there. It wasn't kiddie stuff.
Yeah.
But it was actually decent though. But I was just surprised. I was like, oh wow, they actually let somebody get, it's like when G.I. Joe's shooting at Cobra and they never hit anybody.
Yeah.
They might hit the ship, like I was like, man, the U.S. Armed Forces, their shooting has really gone downhill, because like you get like hundreds of soldiers on both sides shooting at each other and they never hit anything.
Yeah. Guardians of Erloth is, I would think it's, kids can read it. Definitely. It's something I would have read at 10, 11. I read, I guess with 90s comics and the X-Men, and you had like, the one thing that comes to mind is that spring break scene when they're all on the beach. And they're all wearing like bathing suits, and, like Psylocke and all those women have the big bosoms. I would have thought if my mom knew half the stuff that I was reading at that age, she probably would have taken them away. But this comic is something that can be enjoyed by both adults and kids, and it's definitely, I don't think the dialogue's geared towards younger kids. So is there like swearing and stuff in the book? Because there's definitely swearing in my book. But. There's not swearing. I think the biggest thing would be the physical violence. There's a lot of bloodshed. I think that's probably the worst, but there's insinuations. There's adult themes. Definitely. There's no nudity, but there's definitely some adult themes here and there. And like I said, I don't think it's anything worse than you would see in like a Disney movie or something. But,
I got you. Okay. Well, I'm about to say, you were mentioning like when they go to the beach and all that. That's one of the things I actually miss. They used to put out swimsuit annuals and stuff every year. They used to put out like the beach. Everybody's going to the beach, and I love that. We have these gorgeous pinups, and they would bring in like the Hildebrands or just all these different artists and have them do like sexy interpretations of different characters and stuff. Now I miss that. I guess now you can't do that because
right. And I actually I was at a kind of a swap meet, and I picked up a lot of those trading cards that were based off the Jim Lee art, but they were, I don't remember all the artists, but especially the artist who did that spring break beach scene. But I picked up the trading cards for it, and it's just awesome art.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I miss, and I think Zenescope still has done. I think they've done an annual a couple times. I don't think it's it's a yearly thing, but they've done a couple of, because that's one of the things that I've noticed about. I think they still every now and again some of their covers can be a little risque.
Right.
They'll do like a naughty version of a cover or something just on a limited basis. But that's one thing I love about Zenescope, and like I said, Kanan's done a bunch of work for them.
I've seen some of their like would be like lingerie, I guess, for like Cinderella.
Yeah. Yeah, they what's that? I can't remember that guy's name. I think it's he's got that he's got a book, I think it's called White Widow, that was on Indiegogo. Is it Tywin, Jeremy Tywin or something like that? I can't remember, but that's why I started following him on Instagram, and he was doing a lot of Zenescope work, a Tyndall or something. I think Jeremy Tyndall or James Tyndall, Tyndall, something. But he does a bunch, and he would do them. He'd have nice bosom, nice full. My God, it was like a throwback to the 90s to me, and that's I don't know. I definitely will not have any kind of limitations when we're doing brand. I definitely want to do stuff like that, because that's one thing that I've mentioned to Kanan. We are definitely doing more of an mature readers. I've had people reach out to me like, "Hey, is this my 14-year-old was looking at Kanan's pictures and he was on about," and I was like, "I'm just being honest with you. It's definitely going to be,
he's going to like that book."
Yeah, so yeah, you definitely will see people, like getting their heads chopped off and all kind of gore and a lot of
Right.
that, and there'll be language and things. So just be mindful of it. I've tried to be very clear about that when advertising the book. So
Yeah, I've heard you talk about, you having like I don't know if it was a brothel scene or if it was.
oh yeah, when they go into the Hall of Fame, yeah. Yeah, we got
Like a gentleman's club, like kind of a secrets club that they're part
well,
of.
yeah, well, like Fame is this kind of he's this kind of hustler pimp character that and you can see this in the beginning in the preview that I released, that him and his chick Rita, they helped Dawn escape. She was like she was doing some pickpocketing at the bus station there, and somebody saw her and he alerted the police and they were trying to catch her, and Fame had been watching her, and so he was like, oh man, she looks like someone that I could work with. He's looking for a new student, and he kept an eye on her, and then he saw that she got in a little bit of trouble, and decided to help her out, and he helps her get out of the bus station. Well, that's all in the preview. So like later on, we actually go to, and I've tweeted that page out where we actually go to what Fame calls the Hall of Fame. So it's kind of a gentleman's establishment, but it's he lives there, but he owns like this big property. I kind of took him as like a Nino Brown. I don't know if you ever saw the movie New Jack City with Wesley Snipes.
Oh, yeah.
And
Yep.
he's kind of like say he's like a Wesley Snipes type character, where Wesley Snipes had the Carter. He saw that building. He was like, if I take this whole building over, then I can do different things on different floors and, just really, elevate my business. So this is going to be kind of a similar situation where Fame is taking over one of these project buildings. And he's knocked walls out and put other things in there. And so like when you go through the door and it's like a club in there. They in there gambling. They got there's they shooting dice in there. They're playing poker and craps and all this and then you got the big flat screen TVs. There's a hot tub in there with women in there with a guy in there drinking. And there's a young lady in some kind of cage. Kanan Drew and me and Kanan had like knockdown dragouts because I'm telling you, it was kind of strange for me because I've never lied to Kanan about what the book was. And Kanan was like, oh yeah, okay, yeah, sure. Yeah, I can draw that. And then we get to the page, and then all of a sudden, all the women are covered up and all this kind of thing. And I'm like, what is this? He was like, hey, man, I can't be drawing all this. I got kids. And I was like, I understand about your kids, Kanan, but we talked about this, and you agreed to do this. And, it's funny because, like, if I tell him, hey, make sure that werewolf gets his head chopped off, Kanan will draw that all day and there'll be blood all over it. But then, like, when it comes to any skin, then all of a sudden, me and him really had me and him really, I can't wait to do the director's commentary because me and him, we will discuss that in the director's commentary because he explained his position to me, but I was like, Kanan, you understand there's going to be like adult situations in this. There's going to be, besides the violence, because he doesn't seem that, he doesn't have a problem at all drawing violence. He have people getting their heads blown and whatever, arms and legs chopped off, all that. He don't care about that. But then you go, hey man, she's gonna be topless in this thing. I don't feel comfortable drawing that. And I'm like, wait a minute, how you do? It throws me off. But I've been trying to prepare him for the Hall of Fame scene. And I think what we came up with, the final, which I've shown that page, the final page, I can live with it. But yeah, it was definitely going to be, it was probably going to be harder core if I.
So you were going to have no clothes.
Yeah, I mean, it's like there, we've got hookers and strippers and everything in there. And all of a sudden, like, okay, when he gave me the first draft of the page, like when we go in and it's Fame and Rita and Dawn, they're right there. And right to the left, there's a stripper in a glass cage, and she had like a full bikini on and stuff. And I was like, what is this? And then I look, and he's got the hot tub, and the guy's sitting in the hot tub, and he got his drink up, like, yo, what's going on, man? This is great. And all the chicks in there they got tops on and stuff. And I was like, they're hookers, Kanan. What are you doing? And then what we say?
No, I said they're getting paid.
Yeah. I'm like, yeah. And then you go further down, and there's 3 women on on the poles down there, and they're all fully clothed. And I was like, I was looking at this. It drove me nuts when I was looking at it, and I was like, no. I said, Kanan, we talked about this, and I mean, Kanan was, trust me, me and him had a serious. Me and Kanan have had several disagreements while we were working on brand. But the Hall of Fame scene, definitely, me and him, that wasn't a quick. Normally, we can kind of hash it out. I was like, okay, this is what I think. I don't agree with you here, but we can compromise on some things. But when we went on that page, Kanan was like, no, I'm not drawing that. And I was like, wait a minute, you agreed to do this. We kept. I mean, it was a war, and then I think we found. Thank God we still love each other. But yeah, that particular page, it caused a small bit of disharmony in our relationship, because I was like, we agreed, and he was like, okay, I did agree to do certain things. And then so he went back and tweaked some things. And then like I said, I can live with it now, but boy, it was gonna be a lot wilder in my original. He took the bikini, like I said, the girl in the glass cage, which it looks stunning when I look at the page. At the end of the day, he probably saved me though, because if I ever had to sell brand, like if I was going to sell it in say like what the Brightwisers are going to be able to do, where they're going to be able to have their books in like supermarkets and stuff. All I would really have to do is go in and tone down some of the language, because Kanan was so restrained. I could get away with a lot. I was like, oh, okay. All I got to do is just have my font guy just go in and take out some of the swear words, and we're good to go, brother. Yeah. So at the end of the day, he probably saved me on it, because I would like to one day be able to sell brand mainstream, as opposed to just be like, oh, it's mature. But yeah, I like blood and gore, and I like sex and stuff like that. So.
Yeah, my wife actually asked me if I was going on Sexy Party, and I was like, no, it's not.
Oh, God, I keep trying to coax Anna to, Anna, my co-host. She's been, she was like, I need a break, and she's dealing with some personal issues and stuff, and I just, like I said, I've been just trying to just be there for her, and try to make sure she knows that I worship her, but.
Yeah, Anna, we need some more Sexy Party. Come back.
Yeah, I definitely, because there's so much stuff that I was telling her I wanted to talk about, and she was like, she said, I'm almost there. I'm almost ready. And so I suspect before the end of the year, we will be back to streaming again. But I don't know. She kind of goes through these fits where she shuts herself into a room, and I mean, she's sleeping. The other day she told me she slept like 14 hours, and I was like, geez, it just scared me. Sometimes I worry about her, but yeah, she's a sweetheart, and she cares for raccoons, and there you go.
Nice.
It is like 8 raccoons. I think she had 8 last time I checked. I was like, one of them passed, and that really.
8.
Yeah, sometimes you take these animals in, and they're a little weak and underfed and stuff, and and you can't save them. And boy, she always takes that really hard. Like if one of them dies on her or something, like yeah, she had one a couple months ago. I think he got hit by a car, and she thought she could. She was like, I think he's gonna make it, and then he just didn't make it. It destroyed her. She just stuff like that. Just really, she gets attached to those animals, and I don't know. I'm just, it's like I know about dogs and stuff. I don't know about raccoons. So.
No, I know that you see them on the side of the roads a lot. That's all I know.
But I mean, she's gone. That's one thing. There have been people that call her like 2 states over, and it's like, hey, I heard you like taking these animals, and she'll drive 2 states to go pick a raccoon up and bring him back to her place, and try to nurse him back to health. I mean, the stuff that she's gone through, and it's so expensive. That's the thing. I mean, she's talked about how expensive it is caring for these animals, the vet bills, and all this. I was like, whew. I was just like, oh my goodness. And she goes, they're my children. And I was like, you, the bills you have, it sounds like you really, you're really paying for kids, because, you have to get there, have to get them their shots, and, constantly feeding them. And I mean, yeah, she just, I don't know. She's dedicated to these animals. So I don't know. It is what it is. But salute to Anna. I'll have to. I know I sent her a message this morning. I have to see how she is, because she's a sweetheart. I do love her. So, but I don't know. By the way, I noticed on your Indiegogo, you had a lovely redheaded woman. I guess she's your editor.
Yeah, La Dame Rouge.
Yeah, La Dame Rouge. I noticed her, and I was like, oh, I have a thing for redheads. I can't help it. But so she's working on your book?
Yep, she's editing my book. She edited the second printing of volume 1 also. So I didn't have, I went through, I tried to go through the first printing of volume 1, as much as possible. Mistakes always kind of escape you. That's why you need multiple eyes on them.
Absolutely.
So yeah. Biggest advice to people out there is get an editor, because they will help you look at least somewhat professional. So she's going to help me edit volume 1 and volume 2, and hopefully all the volumes.
Well, yeah, I'm very grateful to my editor Amanda Lamella, who pops up in the chat here and there. I don't think she's here, because I know she works like 2 jobs and stuff. But yeah, she really did a good job editing, the preview that we released, and so I can't wait to have her tear into the rest of the book.
Right. And then my advice to people would be have them edit the script first, because a lot of letters will copy and paste into whatever they're using, whether it's Photoshop or whatnot. But so I would have people have the editor edit the script, and then and she does content as well for me, just to make sure everything makes sense, from as far as story, from page to page, and that the dialogue kind of follows the page.
No, I agree with that 100%. That's one thing. My letter, he was, when I sent him the deposit and everything, he was like, please make sure. He's like, because he said, there's nothing I can't stand worse than getting the script, and then you guys are, oh, I caught a typo there. Oh, I got fix all that before you send it to me. And I agree with him on that. Once I send him the script, then that's what it is,
Yeah, I found that out in the first one too, because I had to keep sending it back to my letterer, and they don't edit; they're just lettering. You know what I mean? They're not getting paid to edit, so I had to ask them to change several things, which he kindly did. So that was good.
Yeah, everybody on my team's professionals, but that was so he was getting a little. I was like, hey, because he sent me like 3 copies of the preview before, it was starting to drive him nuts though. But there were a couple things where he had put like letter boxes on the wrong people's mouths or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Is he had moved it to the wrong. Oh, I messed up. I moved it. Okay, so he was able to fix that. And there was a couple things where I was like, wait a minute, misspelled the word there and all that kind of thing. It is, you know. So I got, like I said, I saw 3 other versions and I kept sending them to my friends. I was like, look at this one, check this one out, you know. And he goes, do you mean to tell me you didn't edit this thing before you said? I said, no. I said, no, the script you got was the final edited version, but I'm letting other people, because, you know, it never hurts to have more people look. He said, yeah, man. But he said, all of a sudden, he said, I'll send you one. And then, you know, a day later, here you go. Hey, man, on this page, you did this. And on this page, he was like, he said, it's like little typos and little things like that. And he's like, why didn't you catch that the first go round? And I was like, so we were kind of, he's like, hey, you know, I was like, I'm lettering like 12 books a month. I don't have time to keep going back. And I was like, I get it. So, you know, definitely tried to, but I thought Amanda did a really, really good chance. You know, she did a really good job of editing, but even then you need even more eyes on it, I think. And then sometimes when you actually see it on the page, you know, when you actually see it with the you know, that kind of thing. So right. I was like, yeah, okay. But hey, you know, I think what we finally came out with, the final version, which is the link in the description, I'm proud with that of that, and I think the rest of the book will you know, be done to that same high quality.
And we have Eric Weathers lettering, so I can't wait to see what he's got. He was a backer for the first book, so I talked to him a little bit.
Oh, he didn't letter the first book.
No, that was Micah Myers. Okay. So I got to, you know, ask him about the lettering, what he thought, and he's like, well, there's a couple of things I probably would have done differently, but so I'm kind of excited to see what he's going to do.
I see Art T. Bear out in the chat. Shout out to Art. He was here the other day and had a really fun conversation with him, and then the day before that, Kelsey Shannon. So both of those were really so.
Yeah, I can't wait for Black and White. I'm a backer.
So that is, if I'm not mistaken, Art, you said that was at the printer. You're just waiting on it to come back from Timbuktu or wherever they print these things at. So, by the way, I know you did your print run. Where did you print through?
I printed through Printivity.
Never heard of them.
Okay. Yeah, so they're based out in San Diego, and then they have a East Coast in New Jersey print shop. So I wanted to keep it, you know, in the States, so it was easier to deal with. I did look at Print Ninja, but for timing purposes and just for in case things got messed up, which in the second printing they did get messed up, and I was able to contact them, and they got really good communication. I'm always able to talk to somebody on the phone when I call them, so you know, and I don't have to wait forever. And so they fixed the issue with that print run, and they reprinted everything. So yeah, Printivity is awesome.
I'm gonna have to look them up because, right, you know, it's like I really wanted to use a stateside printer. However, all the prices, unfortunately, when I started looking at the prices, yeah, I've got a bunch of books to print, so
they're not going to be cheaper than Print Ninja. You know that, but the quality that I got, and my books are 80-pound cover and 80-pound interior paper, which you know, it dries up the price a little bit, but I wanted these books to last even when they're handled, and the quality is amazing. So I was really happy with the quality they gave me.
Okay. All right. I mean, wouldn't hurt to give them a look. You know, you never know.
Yeah. And I just want people to know, kind of on a side note to that, in addition, is, you know, the price of the book is $25, but there's definitely quality built into that. So these aren't going to be, you know, your 48 or your floppy, that thin, what is it, like 60-pound or even less, that you'll walk into the local comic shops or your monthlies, and it's a lot thicker than that. And there's been people who've done reviews on YouTube, so you can go check those out. But you're definitely getting a quality product.
Okay, yeah. So Art saying that's why we went to China. The cost, yes. Trust me. Like, I found some great U.S. printers. One of them sent me they sent me a sample pack with their different papers and stuff. And I was like, yes. Then so when I started running for the total cost, and it was like $3,000 or $4,000 more than. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was like, that's not good. So I was kind of hoping. But I don't know. Like, I was hoping to find a U.S. printer that could compete, but that's but I hate to send those dollars outside of the U.S. But at the same time, I got to fulfill. I've got a book to fulfill, so I gotta do all of that. So, whew. Well, Chael, tell them how they can reach out to you there, brother. Like if they're, obviously we got the link to your book in the description. But, they might want to follow you on social media or whatever and just interact with you there, brother.
Sure. You can follow me at Chael Roberts on Twitter. I am on Instagram. I post some, I'm not as active on there as Twitter, but Scribe of Erloth on Instagram, at Chael Roberts on Twitter. I do have a Facebook page, which is Comics du Nord. And then people can email me, which is on the campaign, at knightsoferloth at gmail.com.
Ah. All right. So, wait a minute. Oh, you got a YouTube as well, don't you?
I do. Sorry. Comics du Nord on YouTube. It's right there you can see it on my little picture.
Let's see. Okay. And I got a super chat from Brian Kriskow. Six Gun Gorilla. Let me see here. That's a good question. Who do most CGers use for printing their books? Print Ninja, I actually forgot who I used to print my floppies for Six Gun. And if I'm not mistaken, Six Gun Gorilla met its goal. It is fully funded.
Cool.
But if not, please check out Six Gun Gorilla on Indiegogo. It is, I have a few of the floppies there, and it really impressed me. So definitely check that out. And but so all right. So now what was your YouTube again? Because like I said, I know you have a YouTube.
Yeah, YouTube is Comics du Nord.
Okay. So why do I have a feeling that you speak French fluently?
My wife speaks French fluently.
So wait a minute. Is the redhead your missus?
Yeah, she's my missus. I try to keep that separate, but she's a teacher of French. She teaches French.
You're a very lucky man. She is beautiful. I saw her and she just stood out. She is gorgeous.
Yeah, like you, I'm a sucker for redhead.
Oh God, I saw her and I kept looking at her picture. I was like, man, she's gorgeous.
Yeah.
So congratulations to you, Mr. Roberts. And to your lovely bride. She is.
I'm sure she's watching right now. So if not, I'll pass along the sentiment.
Well, yeah, she's rather easy on the eyes. I was like, I kept looking. I was like, wow. I was like, okay.
I got her when I was a little bit younger, so I probably outpunted my coverage, but
well, that's how you do it, man. That's how you do it, hey brother. Ain't nothing wrong with it.
Like that's what we do.
Hey man, I salute you, man. That's a come up right there. I appreciate it, but
So Comics du Nord is something we kind of both came up with, and it's Comics of the North. We live in Minnesota, so and her being French, and this is the North Star State, also l'Étoile du Nord.
Is she actually French, like from France or Canadian French, or was she just
from Wisconsin?
Oh, okay. Because I was like, oh, it'd be cool if she has a hello, Chael. Let's talk about this accordion. That would be cool if she had like the sexy French accent. That would be cool, man. And it's like, but instead she's like, oh yeah, and let's go out here and make some cheese,
Pretty much.
Like that. But then she can speak. I'm assuming she speaks French as well.
Yep, on a daily basis. So she majored in French. Actually, she went to college for it. She got a degree and then teaching also. So
let's see. Okay, hold up. So Brian Chris Gal goes, you have to salute any CGer who dates above his level. I agree with that. And Brian also says, does she have any sisters?
yep. Well, two now available. One just got married. So.
Oh, okay. So I was like, yeah, definitely. The gene pool is very generous on that side of the family. It looked she was rather easy on the eyes. So I was like, all right, man, go ahead.
Man. She grew up on the farm, so she's also a hard worker.
Hey, well, ain't nothing wrong with that. I am not a hard worker. As many who have listened to Sexy Party will be able to tell you, that is one of my downfalls, and that's why they all leave me. But anyway, all right, guys, this has been fun. My thanks to Chael Roberts for joining us here today. Please, please, please go out there and check out Guardians of Erloth 2. It's got a very snazzy cover by my dear, dear friend, Mr. Kanan White. And you can also pick up volume 1 of that. That's one of the perks I liked on that campaign, where you could get book 1 and book 2, so you can get caught right on up. You're not going to be like, wait a minute, I just got dropped in the middle of something. You'll know exactly what's going on because you'll have both books. It's only $35 so for 2 copies, so it's not really going to destroy your wallet. So please, check this out. If you're checking this out later, go to Indiegogo, check out Guardians of Erloth 2, and grab up a couple of comics and support this brother. He's got a family to provide for, and got 2 more stories to write. So
got a baby coming here at Christmas.
Got a baby on the way to see. Look at you. Do you have any other kids, or?
No, it's our first.
Oh, congratulations to you. All right, see, that's what I'm saying, man. You got a baby coming. That's gonna be a great Christmas present. And then and then you got. When do you think you'll start working on Guardians of Erloth Volume 3?
Well, I've got it outlined, but I'm just trying to focus on this campaign and get it finished. My main goal is to hit it by the time I put by June, to have it shipped to people. I'm a firm believer in fulfilling goals, and I think that is important. I think when people do, it helps the next person coming. So I definitely am excited for it. It definitely expands the story, but I'm going to concentrate on volume 2 right now, getting that out. So probably next year though.
Oh, okay, cool. That sounds that sounds about right for me too. Because there you go, way of the gun. There you go. I'm really excited for that. So, all right, guys. With that being said, I'm gonna wrap this video up. And if you guys want to reach out to me, I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and right here on this YouTube channel. Everywhere is at Akari Press. And if you type in akaripress.com, it will take you directly to my Indiegogo campaign for my comic book series brand with the phenomenal Kanan White. We're on Teespring. We're on Amazon.com. The links to those are in the description. Thank you guys so much for watching. Guardians of Erloth, Volume 2. Back it. I'm out.